Special meeting due order for Monday, December 15th. Item 1A is fiscal year 2027 budget review.
Did everybody have a chance to look at it, or did anybody have any questions?
Are you going to go through it, sort of section by section?
But I
Okay.
thought if anybody had any burning questions first.
Nothing burning from me.
I did make a couple of little changes, they're very minor. But I guess we'll just go through
Yep.
category by category.
For your signing pleasure.
The first section on taxes. That revenue stayed pretty level. We do have an increase in current use, and that's the only difference from this year. Licenses and fees moved up a little bit. Recording fees have been doing really well. Zoning permits and applications have been doing really well. With the increase, some of that's the increase in the price. Transfer station, these are fairly solid numbers, and this year we did, for fiscal year 25, we did make over 240,000 in pay-as-you-throw fees, which is pretty good. I think the vending machine has helped a lot in that area.
That's amazing. 230 or 240, whatever the number is, 246 in tickets, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Great.
That system seems to be
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
working.
doing about anywhere from 17 to 19,000 a month in that machine alone.
That's significant.
Um,
Probably matched by expenses,
Yeah.
but at least we're covering.
No, not really, but yeah, expenses have gone up, so. So these are the estimates, the income from the towns, our estimates on what we spend and what everybody's portion is. It doesn't always work out that way, but investment income, we've done fairly good this year. I'm going to put it up to 25,000. You know, you just never know how that's going to do. Highway aid went up a little bit this year. Our pilot payments went up a little bit. Judicial I put back down to 4,000 because we just haven't had much in the way of tickets. I did make a small change to the Collins Fund. I just got the numbers from the trustees for this year, and that's up over 5,000. So I put it up to 5,200 for next year, which is different than what's on yours.
Oh, so that's a change.
Yeah.
Collins Fund, meaning the Collins Cemetery?
No,
No?
it's the fund that the trustees have, that we get the disbursement every year
Right.
for, and it just goes into the general.
Okay.
The streetlights are the actual cost, which is just, you know, an estimate, because we do it on a yearly basis, not on fiscal year.
These are charges to people for the,
No, that's
Use
money
of
that comes from
streetlights?
the trustees as well.
oh, okay.
There's a streetlight fund that covers the actual cost of the streetlights.
Got it.
Leased land was up a little bit. Solar array, we go up 2% every year on that. income, that's the solar panels at the transfer station. The Mountain Towns rec, are estimates of what we'll actually spend. And so that's it for income, so we're up to the 1.1.
And can we go back to investment income?
Mhm.
That's not coming off those public
No,
funds.
that's what I keep in the
That's what
bank.
you keep in the bank, right?
Yes. Okay. Let's start on, disbursements. The first section is the office, administration and the salaries. I did a 3% raise this year, which is what the COLA is recommended by the government. Did anybody have any questions on that? And of course, benefits, FICA Medi hinges on the numbers above.
Tina, there was an additional person listed somewhere, like an assistant town clerk for 80,000. Where's that?
That's gonna be an article.
That's an article, okay. All right.
Yes.
But why would
So-
you not, or you won't show it here until it
Because
It
it
becomes
technically
part
is
of
a
the
new
budget.
position, so, or a new, and
Request.
it's an additional to what we already have in the budget.
Yep, okay,
And I'll explain that more
Okay.
when we get to the,
yep,
city appropriations.
yep.
Benefits hinge on salaries. Health insurance is not going down anytime soon. Workers' comp and disability insurance hinge on salaries. Training and travel, the only major change is, Brewster's asked for a little bit more because they are required to take some more. And then, I upped Ally's and the assistant, Ally's gonna take some classes to be certified, a certified municipal clerk,
Mhm.
so to help her cover that. Other office expenses, I put 20,000 for an audit. We did find out that we don't have to have a single audit for this year on the federal money because we didn't meet the threshold. It's when they upped it to $1 million. So, but next year we probably will. Once we get wastewater rolling.
ARPA reimbursements and things.
Mhm.
Yeah. Election expense, we put up a little bit because we have two elections in town meeting next year. Legal expenses, I upped a little bit because we seem to be using a lot of legal expenses. Advertising left the same. Office supplies I upped because with having a bigger space and more people here more often.
Need more stuff.
Yeah. Town report I left the same, although maybe we have another year on our contract with the town report printer, but we might want to talk about not sending out town reports to everybody and having them available, sending postcards. It's not required that you send a town report, it's required that everybody gets notice of the warnings, so we can just do postcards or something like that.
It's not a huge ticket item, but it's probably worth asking the question of our voters,
Yeah.
whether or not
I mean, and I
we should be
throw-
spending this
and
money.
we
Yeah.
throw a lot out every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of town reports, so. Postage. I
It's
left-
as much a part of us as a town meeting, isn't it?
It is, and they'll be available, but you go to the post office and
Yeah.
there's,
The
you know,
recycling bin is full of them.
yeah, the recycling bin is full of town reports because nobody looks at it.
You mean not everybody collects them? Just me?
No,
It's not just you.
Yeah.
I
I know there are people who collect them.
Yeah, there's a few, it's just majority, fortunately, go
You
down.
probably only need one though to collect, right? You don't need like multiple.
Well, you'd be surprised. No,
Well, how many do you probably have?
several. Enough.
Recording supplies, I left the same, mapping went down a little bit. And then, short-term rental coordinator, Andy asked for, it's, for software and for, the summit that there's a couple of classes that he's gonna take. And he's been using the software to, get updated addresses for people. So,
Yep.
he asked for that. And then the GIS mapping, while the regular mapping went down, the GIS mapping went up a little bit. Moving on to computer copier. I did, the website, we'll have one payment. We spread the payments out over the year, so 7,000.
This is hosting cost?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or seven.
Well, it's over 5 years, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So the 7 is spread over 5, or the total is spread over 5 years, yeah.
Copier I left the same. Software and support I put up to 30 because we went over quite a bit. And every time we add a new computer or license, it just keeps going up, it doesn't get cheaper. And that's all of our security for our, and our IT guy who does all of our work for us. And then equipment I put up to 6,000 because we've got a couple of, we probably have at least 3 computers next year that need to be replaced. Under other administrative expenses, there's not a lot of change here. The LCT dues went up a little bit. And I think that was it on that. And then under other municipal services and appropriations, Ally had talked to you guys about putting some of these regular municipal expenses into the budget rather than voting on them every year. A lot of them are essential.
I was just curious, this seems sort of, some of these seem logical to be sitting here, and some of them less so. I am a big fan of the Historical Society, but why are they sitting there? And what was the decision about putting it here under other municipal services rather than further back in the document?
Well, so for anything, I mean, my thought was.
I just didn't understand the logic.
They service Londonderry versus 90% of our other appropriations are not where they service mountain towns or multiple.
Okay,
Like they service London, that's what they are, Londonderry Historical Society.
yeah.
That's what their
I'm a
purpose
big
is.
fan of them, so
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
not a
So, but that-
critique,
that
but
was
I'm just
my
understanding the
thought,
logic
that-
going on.
That was their, you know, same with like Londonderry Fire, they service, I mean, they might do mutual aid or might, but their core thing is Londonderry versus like, well, there's two kind of main, you're either a social service, for the appropriations, which they wouldn't qualify for, cause that's not a social service, that's a
Right.
community service.
Right.
And that's the other community service, but the other community services didn't service just Londonderry. They're an open, you know, it's the Humane Society, it's Friends of the West River Trail, it's
Right.
yes, they might be based here or whatever. but
County or regional.
yes, they're a much
Yeah.
larger,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thing.
neighborhood connection.
yes, but, and that's social service, so like, but these were Londonderry
Specific.
specific. That's
Yep.
kind of why, that's why I thought,
Yep.
okay, they should be more of a line item in our budget versus an appropriation which can shift a little
right,
more fluidly at town meeting. That was my thought process behind it. Whether they stay there, I mean, that's ultimately your guys'
Yep.
decision. But that was my thought, why those ones in particular.
and there's no reference to FY '25 But are
Because
these
it's-
pretty much
because
staying the
it's on
same?
last page.
It is, yeah, it is
Yeah,
back there,
yeah.
yeah, I just wasn't gonna
Because
toggle
it
back and
wasn't
forth.
appropriated.
Yeah,
Before the-
but this isn't, these numbers aren't out of whack from what they had been in the
Correct,
past, right?
correct,
Yep,
yeah.
okay.
No,
Thank you.
believe the only one, GNAT's a little bit higher than it was. but-
They
So-
put together a nice,
That
Argument.
changes the way that they, I mean, if these numbers needed to change, do they have to
They have to ask us.
still do a request? It
Yeah.
won't be an appropriations
Correct.
request, but
Yeah.
they'll give you a new
And we did
number.
do that.
And we still do ask for 990s, so they are showing their financials for us, it's not.
And a report.
And a report for time, so there'll still be, so there's parts of it that will still remain the same, so that people can see where the money, is going or how it's used, but these are Londonderry-based services
I think that makes sense.
thank you.
that aren't social services, because that's, by statute, is its own thing. So,
Planning commission is down a little, and they just rearranged some numbers. If you have any questions, Pam's here, Jen's here. Housing committee, this is what they requested. The DRB, I sat down with Esther and Will, and we came up with those numbers. There isn't a lot of change except for Will's salary. Electricity. Not a lot of change there. The town office is using quite a bit more, even with the solar panels. We're not netting zero at all. And I'm not quite sure how that all works, and we don't have any kind of storage for the solar, so.
Well, with heat pumps and the type of equipment that the building has now, I mean, it should almost reduce or offset some
Fuel. Yeah.
fuel. So it might take a season or so to see the difference, but
Yeah.
electricity usually replaces some.
And I
fuel
don't
costs
know
and-
that the furnace has run.
Yeah,
I haven't heard it run.
I haven't heard it run, I haven't felt the baseboard.
There should be some flexibility with settings on,
Well, it's set down, so the thermostat's downstairs.
it'll only
It's
take
set at
over when
70.
it's,
yeah.
If the heat pumps
Can't
can't
keep
keep up,
up,
it will
then it'll
kick the
kick on.
furnace out.
Yeah.
and usually they'll keep up until it's like frigid, really. I mean, the modern
Even those
technology,
frigid days, I don't,
Yeah,
No,
I
I
thought
think
today.
Not
last
today,
night
yeah.
it's still not gonna run. I think that's where you'll see the savings
Yeah.
will be in the fuel bill, not
yeah.
in.
Yeah, I think they've only put like $30 worth of fuel in the tank.
Yeah,
to-
and it's not a
Yeah.
cash windfall, but it does replace
Mhm.
those costs at
Yeah.
Yeah.
least, so, or offset at least.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on electricity other than that?
No,
The town office, the only big jump is the cleaning. We have twice the space, so it's twice the price,
Yep.
or thereabouts. And I upped supplies, which is cleaning and toilet paper and all that kind of stuff, which now that we have more people here on a regular basis, we seem to be using more. And telephone was up a little bit, the telephone system. Town garage, they used a little more fuel last year than we budgeted, so I did up that. And the town hall, I actually, from what you guys have, I reduced the telephone and security for telephone line. We are switching it to be on Wi-Fi, so we won't need the $2,400 a year telephone line to run that, so
Countryside.
Countryside's working on that. So I put it to 1,500, we maybe can reduce that later on, but,
That's 1,500, okay.
yeah. I did put repairs and maintenance up a little bit, because I have a lot of repairs there, I know there's ongoing.
Tina, can I go back on the other
Yeah.
page about computer copier and software and support? It may be worth our while to really spike out what it costs us for sort of cybersecurity or computer security issues. It's a huge issue if we were ever to get
Oh, we're covered.
grants. I know we are,
Yeah.
but I think it's an important line item that people need to see. And it gets kind of buried in there.
It's $930 a month currently.
Yeah, and that's money well spent
Yeah.
in case we ever had a situation, but, you
It's
know, that's,
significant, though.
it's
Yes, it is,
huge.
yeah.
And if, you know, thank God it's working or nobody's decided, yeah.
I could break that out. I mean,
This is more just like,
The problem is the 930 it's the security and it's all the licenses for Microsoft as well, so
yeah. I mean, maybe
I
your
could break it down.
tech support person knows a better way to
Yeah.
do it, but I know sort of, certainly in healthcare,
Yeah.
it's a huge issue, and municipalities are another step.
I can probably fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, transfer station. Not a lot of changes, to transfer station, it's not getting any cheaper to haul the trash. John's working on some ways of, right now we pay Casella to haul and then they give us money back for recycling, but then we also pay another company that's like a middleman and he's trying to cut them out. It's New Hampshire Recycles, because they don't actually do the hauling anymore. Casella brings it all to them, when Casella can just take it, so,
Right.
he's working on that. But prices are not going down anytime soon, I don't think.
Ever.
Recycling, moving up a little bit, not sure why. Just health insurance and some other costs. Hazardous waste, went up a little bit, because John works a little bit more than Esther did. He still stays under the 20 hours a week, but she wasn't doing, she often only did 40 a month, which, and sometimes less. And the hazardous waste contract will be going up again too.
And the health insurance, that one tripled, is that?
Oh, for recycling, well, I'm not sure why I changed that to that. That should only be 6,000, so we can lower that
6,000.
as long as we keep key. No, it might be more like 7,000.
So,
I'll fix that. On to parks. Parks didn't change much. They did, rec director raise, and then he did the grounds maintenance employee based on actual hours of what the person did this summer, so that went down a little bit, but. And then we took out the infrastructure maintenance, is what the appropriation, which we're putting in again this year for the park appropriation. Into a reserve, we set up a reserve fund,
That's right.
yeah.
Relative to the tennis courts?
Mhm.
Yes.
And any other infrastructure, yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So we really didn't have any increase in that section. Insurance. Insurance is not going up as they said as much, so I left it level. And then on to debt service, now we have, the bond payment is in there. We will have a new truck installment, hopefully by next year.
This is a beginning installment of debt service on a new truck, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That'll probably be the 45,000 will be the down payment. Because we're paying
There
on
it
a
is.
yearly basis, so I don't know when.
Yep.
It's anybody's guess when the truck's gonna actually arrive at any point in time. The fire truck for Phoenix is paid off. That's all done. And we still have Josh's truck still is paid off now. And next year the tractor will be paid off. So we just keep rolling one out and rolling one back in. And the bond payment will be roughly the same each year. The principal and interest just changes a little. Conservation Commission, the $1,000 that it went up, I put, instead of putting that in as an appropriation, I just put it in their budget. And we always did $1,000. And we lowered it at some point to 500, but they're doing some land conservation thing, so they're gonna have to replenish their fund a little bit. And then come to roads. Roads are, as good a guess as we can make. Repairs and maintenance don't seem to go down, they keep going up, so we try to budget as best we can.
Some of this stuff kind of snowballed a little bit too. We
Yes.
talked about when we were discussing it earlier, it was like fourth person, new truck, more tires, more chains,
Yep.
more blades, more,
Yep,
it just,
more of everything,
more of everything, yeah.
but we're getting the work done.
Well, I think that's the benefit that shows.
Yeah,
There's more to talk about with paving too, and along those same lines,
Yeah.
but.
yeah. Anybody have any questions on roads?
The equipment maintenance, we shifted, that one went up, but another one went down in place of that, or was that?
I think because,
I think we
Yeah, we
upped that one because they're doing a lot of the, he's ordering a lot of the like stuff for the trucks for winter
yeah,
in the summer.
It shifted from summer
Yeah,
to,
summer.
from winter
From winter
to
to
summer.
summer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like that one went up, but it came from somewhere
yeah,
else. I kind of forgot, but.
yeah. I mean, in one towing of a truck somewhere from here, or they have to come out with a mobile unit,
It's not AAA.
Yeah.
It's,
It's a couple of $1,000s right off the top, so. And we did our contracted services, just because of all the trees and stuff we've been,
we had a specific project this
Yeah.
year that we didn't have budgeted enough for,
Yeah.
so we're trying to prepare for that for next year, which is a combination of tree work and excavation.
any questions on? Oh, we did. What did we do with tire chains and cutting edges? We decided we would take out of the highway equipment fund, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because we looked at that and it covers everything.
yeah. And, that's it for that page. Emergency management, just left the same. Beautification asked for the same amount. And so we are at $3.6 million. And then, so I don't actually put in the budget the appropriations, but these are the appropriations that will be line items in the town report. And petitions, and that's the next up on the docket. Just to give a snapshot of what we are looking at, I did put in the economic improvement fund for 5,000. So the reason behind the full-time assistant / office manager is we're finding that there's more and more things to do and less people and less time. And so we thought if we made the assistant clerk like an assistant to everybody in the building, she could do filing, keep working on scanning all of our records, help Eileen with getting packets ready, doing all that kind of stuff.
Plenty
So-
to do, it has seemed.
So this would be, this is including benefits, and this would be, right now we have her budgeted at 24 hours. This would be at 40 hours with benefits.
So some of that would be offset by a current salary at 20
Well,
hours?
I took just the portion that's not in the budget.
Oh, okay,
This would be the additional to that.
that's the difference.
Position.
So it's a brand-new position that's a full-time 40-hour. Yep.
And then the other reserve funds, the highway improvement fund, I think we're up to 360 this year for that one.
Can we go back to the Economic Improvement Reserve Fund? So last year we voted a set dollar amount rather than a percent.
Yeah,
I think we should listen to what, like the
yeah,
Housing Commission.
I just put in what I,
Right, but I think
yeah,
if we have the opportunity, there's probably enough, there should be more in that. And can we go back up to appropriations? So how many of these here failed to get their required 80 signatures?
Most. But because it's petition, they actually have until January 14th is the deadline.
Oh,
I said that by the 12th to be in front of you guys, to be
Right.
endorsed by you guys. So I only have like 4 or 5 that have done
no
that.
kidding, yep.
So I have some that are very close, that I've done, verified some, and then they realize that, oh, people from other towns sign these? I'm like, yes, they
Yeah,
often do.
yeah,
A
yeah,
lot,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
So then they went back and had to kind of.
I will
go
just
back
say,
in.
I personally was running around town with Grace Cottage,
Yes,
and it is hard.
it is.
It is a huge lift, and they had their director of development going around asking people, what a crazy waste of her time doing that. And I think, maybe in the future, we might look at whether 80 signatures is really legit.
That's statutory?
That's the way.
Always is,
It's 5% of the
I
voting.
figured that,
Yes.
yeah.
No.
Is it a
5%
percentage of
It's
our,
5% of the voting
To get on the warrant.
to get
Yeah.
on, yeah,
Yeah.
it's statute.
big
It's-
lift.
But the
but
thing
it's
is
only
that,
every 5 years.
it's
I
only
know,
every 5
I
years.
know.
And they knew, they chose not to, I mean, I.
Not to
probably-
start
Right.
earlier in the year.
Correct.
Yes,
They
correct, I
have
know.
gotten emails since
Oh, yeah.
July that I said, this is happening,
Yeah,
this is happening. In October, when they got their check from last year,
Yeah.
I gave them another And only maybe 3 out of the 25 contacted me in October and said,
Yeah.
oh, wait, we have to do this? And I said, yes.
Yeah.
Most emailed me last week and was like, wait, what? And I'm like, we went over this since
I only
July.
got 4. That's incredible. Wow, okay. Yeah, 4 completed.
Ones like Grace Cottage, they should know better. They ask a
must
lot
have
of
to
towns.
petition.
They ask all sorts of towns.
Yeah, this isn't new,
Yeah.
most of who asked, this isn't a new thing. This isn't, it's not,
They could have
this isn't a
new-
hard ask. It's
Right.
a choice of putting it on their calendar.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
those-
They
That's
absolutely
probably,
know how the process works.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
With everybody having staff shortages and maybe there's
Oh,
new
yeah.
people in charge that are, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't need to make excuses.
Yeah,
for it.
there's a
I'm
couple
just saying,
that I don't
I can
know,
only
'cause
imagine what their challenges
In
are.
July, I had somebody saying, okay, then we're not gonna ask, like, if the cut is so low, it's not worth it to us. I'm like, okay, but then a week ago, I got a thing saying, expect our petition in the next couple of weeks. I'm like, oh, okay, I thought you were out.
Right. Yeah. Yep, yep.
And that was some email from an entity, but a different person, so I'm like, I don't know who was, until I get the petitions in front of me, and I'm not writing anybody out until the end.
Got it.
But the next board meeting, I mean, I have some now for tonight, and then I've talked to some that plan to try to get it in before the hard deadline of
Yeah.
January
Yep.
14th, so we will see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a warning, you have to do the warning.
We have to do the warning,
That's
so-
the 20th.
Yeah, so that's it's a statutory deadline, so.
Yep.
at that point.
Okay, anybody have any other questions?
Based on percentages, how does the percent increase this year compare to last year or the last couple of years? What are we looking at?
We're looking at less of a percentage increase. But we're gonna have we're probably gonna have an 8 or a 9 cent straight increase. Based on this.
Yep.
But, you know, we've been playing catch up for the
At least
last
5
5 years. And we're finally getting,
Particularly in roads, is that right?
yep,
Roads,
That's a big one for sure.
yeah, and equipment, yeah. they are. Well, thank you for all this work. I know how hard it is, yeah.
thank you for listening to me.
Yeah. Kinda already discussed the appropriations, but we have that on the agenda.
Yeah,
We're way ahead of schedule
So,
too,
just
so.
on the list of
yeah, I can let you know,
So
they're
one-
coming in as of today, so, my community nurse has got her signatures and.
Let's just get to it. So 1B, discuss appropriations.
yeah.
So, my community nurse was one that has her 80 signatures and is on for the warning. Friends of the West River Trail have done theirs, Grace Cottage has done theirs. The Collaborative,
Good job.
and
Where's that?
West River Montessori School. Those are the completed so far.
Did GNAT?
GNAT
You
moved
put
to
them
the
in the
line
budget.
item.
They're-
Yeah, into the
Got it.
budget, yeah.
Does anybody wanna?
Oh.
No, except we had quite a few from other towns.
I know they had a petition at Jellies for the food.
He
or-
I
submitted,
had a lot of other,
he's still working on it, there were 71, he had probably 15 to 20 that were Andover, Landgrove, Peru, Weston, residents.
What's this one?
The
Neighbor connections.
neighbor connections.
Sorry, that's my phone.
But he was hopeful that he would get the rest in the next few days, so.
Their big ticket item is the transport, right?
Yes,
yeah, they combined it.
they combined it as one ask this year, so it's just one set dollar
Okay.
amount to fund both.
Well, they had a petition for Meals on Wheels too, to up that by quite a bit at
I never
Jellies.
saw that one yet. He's only verified the 20,000 asked for, which is the combination of the ride,
Yeah,
and the regular.
there's something like another 20,000 for Meals on Wheels that they had a petition at Jellies for.
Yeah.
I know they're cutting back on their meals.
Well, they were having a problem because a lot of it was going straight to, Magic View, which it's probably not at this point.
Didn't we discuss that last year too, that they do get some funding, so this is like the overage of their transportation? Wasn't it like 80,000 that they get, and then but they were short, so we were making up the difference? Because of the nature of driving, it aligned them, or maybe they chose not to align because they wanted to be more.
Because they want to be able to help people do their grocery shopping.
Right,
or
and they wouldn't be
assist
covered
them.
if they did
Yes.
that, that's what it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
I'm confusing it, but,
Yeah.
so
They
they
do
were,
have 2 cars now too, the 2 electric cars that are parked there, that they must use for rides.
Oh, is that what those?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then chargers, yeah, there too, yeah, for the cars.
Well, it's only gonna become more of a need as our community ages, I think, so. Food and transportation.
Any other questions about the budget or appropriations?
Wish we had more to give to some of them, that's all.
And item 2, adjourn special meeting. Anyone care to make a motion?
I move to adjourn the special meeting.
second.
All those in favor? Aye.
So the regular meeting isn't really supposed to start until 6.
Yeah, we didn't want it till 6, so
Yeah, so,
we gotta wait.
yeah. So,
They got me on some
Dinner break.
medication. I'm not going to this meeting,
Okay,
so I'm here for the budget, I'm gonna go.
okay.
I'll be asleep by 7:30. I don't wanna look like other people,
We're gonna-
other politicians
we're
asleep.
gonna need,
What's going on?
Someone's already.
Right, there, yeah.
Jim, we're gonna need you for the wastewater, discussion, because we have, James, unless Jimmy's coming for the 6 PM, where, you're gonna recuse yourself, right?
For the vote, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna need 3 for,
Can we move it up?
we can move it up, yeah, actually,
Gary.
Matt, needs to leave at 7 anyway, so we could move it up to one of the first things on the agenda. If you don't mind. Okay.
Or you could call in, put your,
Well,
you in the bowl.
actually, we do have the Zoom thing here.
Alan,
I know that.
if we added the 38,000 in this appropriations column to the other ones that we had before, do we fall short of, I mean, are we less than what we were before? Here's the 38, and then,
136,000.
right, yeah, it was right there.
It's actually,
I'm texting Jim.
If you added,
He's gonna make it.
where's the other appropriations stuff?
I'm
We would be
texting
more.
Jimmy to see if he's
Would
gonna
it be
make it.
more?
Because, well, GNAT went up. If we moved
Yeah.
the stuff back into that, if you're counting all that, then yes, we would be
Yeah.
more. GNAT,
Gina was the only one.
Tom, did you?
no, didn't
Oh, it's
one other ask,
103.
didn't
What
one
was that?
other ask for, we thought 1,000, but they asked for
Anthony
1,500?
sent You turned the,
Yeah, I turned it back
you
on.
turned it back on already, okay. Huh? Very much.
Alright, 6 o'clock. I'd like to call the regular select board meeting of Monday, December 15th to order. Item 4, additions or deletions to the agenda.
Okay, so I think we wanna move wastewater committee up, probably before roads and bridges, so that Matt can sign off before 7. And the planning commission, under town officials' business, wanted to discuss an ordinance question. So maybe put that under, town hall renovation committee, yeah, E. That should be under, under the page.
Oh, okay.
Next page.
Oh,
Page,
Okay,
it's your
never
pager,
mind.
okay, we're done. So that's it. So if we move up wastewater committee to, before roads and bridges,
How would you do that? Would it just be,
8A, or call it 9, or
call it 8A.
8A.
8A. And then 10E, planning commission. Question. Okay.
You want to admit, Gary?
Oops.
Do we have motions to do that?
I move to move item 10A for the wastewater committee to item 8A and to add 10E for the planning commission.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Alright. Item 5, minutes approval, meeting of 12/1/2025.
I move to approve the minutes of the select board meeting of 12/1/2025.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 6, select board pay orders.
I move to approve the pay orders for payroll and accounts payable.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 7, announcements and correspondence.
Okay, so unfortunately, none of the 3 CDBG DR applications were approved for funding, which was a little bit surprising, that we didn't get at least one of them, based on feedback that we had gotten. We did not, so we're back to the drawing board, we're just gonna look for more funding. We did not receive any bids for the town hall windows RFP, so we'll have to put that back out to bid. I think Anand, who's the project manager from,
He's here.
oh, there you were, you came in. I think you were gonna restructure that RFP a little bit, right? Okay. Sorry, I didn't see you come in. And then, an RFP for the construction inspection services for the Spring Hill Road culvert will be going out tomorrow, and it will be due, I don't know that we put a date on that, Matt would know. Did we decide on a date on that one?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The Spring Hill inspection RFP, did we decide on a date that should be due?
Oh, for a deadline?
Yeah.
Yes, let me just see.
We've been going back and forth on that.
We set the deadline of Friday, January 16th
Okay,
at 4 p.m.
okay. And we, in the course of discussion with the state, we've been told that we need to hold a public hearing before we can go out to bid on construction on that project, so we're tentatively holding a public information meeting on the 5th. So we'll do that, so we'll be in compliance before we put out that bid. And then there was an RFP for the tree removal for the South Village wastewater project, went out today, and it is due on January 5th. at noon. Bit of a fast turnaround. I'll send them all to Chrissy. She'll give a recommendation or compile them all, and you guys will decide that night, hopefully, on one of them. And then the correspondence that we received was a memo from Ally about 3 event permits for liquor licenses that came through.
Say that again, slowly.
3 event permits for
Got
liquor
it.
licenses. And that's all I've got.
Anything from the town office?
We're gonna be closed on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of Christmas week and of New Year's.
On to item 8, visitors and concerned citizens. 8A is wastewater committee. A1 is review and approve North Village allocation recommendations.
Good evening. Thanks for hosting us online. Much appreciated. So Matt and Chrissy have joined me. I met with the select board, I think 2 weeks ago now, and did my best to answer questions from those in attendance regarding funding, kind of like why we're making the recommendations for the capacity allocation, and did my best to answer those questions. But given that Tom, you weren't present, and you know, it was the first meeting that the select board had to consider the recommendation, it was clearly something that needed to be pushed to this meeting. So give you guys some time to deliberate, for you to actually review the recommendation. And we're here tonight to answer any follow-up questions, clarification items.
One question about the usage of the capacity and how it relates to the list that is on page 22. The North Main Street priority properties, the top section of properties listed, this group right here, including the 10% reserve, that uses the entire capacity of the wastewater system as it's currently designed. That's sort of a question clarification.
Chrissy may be better equipped to answer this. I don't think is the case, Taylor. Chrissy, did you hear the question?
I did. So no, not necessarily. We're still trying to finalize some of the design flows for some of the North Main Street properties. And once that's done, then we'll be able to see who else we can add outside of North Main Street.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that 3 of the items in there, 2 are proposed and not in fact determined, maybe entirely. There might be some clarity coming forward with that. I don't know if there is any additional information. And then the 10% reserve is included there too, so.
Any other questions?
I guess I'll just make a statement, but again, supporting what this proposal has placed in front of us in terms of a ranking, I think is the best way to deal with these proposed opportunities for buildings or sites along our Main Street, but also deal with the fact that it's kind of a moving target in terms of who signs up and then what's left and available to then be distributed among the additional properties in areas 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
So it does sound to me like these locations and amounts could still be in flux, essentially, because you know, the proposals, without any details on that, or you know, confirmation of reality, maybe, it's hard to know what would be allocated there. So I think the concept, if this is sort of in order, that, you know, if the top of the list uses the capacity as you go down through the list, then that just becomes, if somebody above you doesn't use it, then it goes down in this order, for clarification, right?
That's the way I regard it, yeah.
That's, I think, a fair assessment, Taylor. And the properties that are in the bottom half of the table were prioritized, if you will, or were established based on overall, I think, benefit to the town, fitting them into, I think, the matrix of cost effectiveness as well. You know, so as you move further down, what became part of the conversation was to service some of the individual properties would include lengthier extensions off of the main, which was factored into it. Also, proximity to surface water, to the West River itself, factored into the equation. And understanding that we've been using the term kind of speculative use for the Main Street priority properties, and we have been having good discussions with the folks that have expressed an interest in hooking up. And I think we're getting close to finalizing the overall design flows, which would be, you know, finalized obviously prior to construction, but we're not quite there yet. The overall intent of this recommendation is to keep the process moving, so that Chrissy can continue with the permitting of the project, and we can advance it with respect to that. And I would note, you know, Tom wasn't here for the last meeting. I don't know if he had a chance to watch video, but addressing the idea of reserving capacity, the town does have that right to reserve capacity. And that would allow for a couple of, you know, key properties that aren't in a position at this time, be it financially or where they're kind of at in their timeline of property ownership. They have expressed that they're not going to file an application. Because of their location, though, we feel that it's highly likely that a future owner of that property would elect to connect. So we feel that it's appropriate for the town to reserve that capacity for the time being. In the minutes from the last meeting, there was reference to, I think, my attempts to answer questions from Mr. Hemler with regards to the cost associated with reserving that capacity. And I would like to clarify that this evening. So if the town holds back capacity, there would be a modest incremental increase in costs that would ultimately be passed on to the grand list. In this instance, you know, the town is just like any other user. So they would be basically, you know, paying for that capacity, and the town obviously being funded by the taxpayers would then pass that on. And Chrissy, Matt, feel free to jump in if I didn't articulate that well, but I wanted to clarify that because it was a question that was raised last time, and I'm not sure that the minutes accurately captured that.
Yeah, I would just note, I did a quick calculation, just following up with Gary following the last select board meeting, and so if the town were to reserve 10% capacity in the North Village, as you know, we've set up the operation and maintenance costs based on the average residential gallonage of 245 gallons per day. And so that user fee for that standard 245 gallons is roughly $75 per month. And so just calculating out 10% of the 6,480 gallons that North Village would be able to treat, it comes out to, it's roughly $2,370 a year for that reserve capacity. So essentially, the town is setting aside 10%, 648 gallons, where it's not using that 648 gallons, but it still needs to pay into the system to cover the operation and maintenance costs. So it's a consideration for the select board. The benefit of setting aside that reserve capacity for future economic development purposes in the North Village. There is a cost associated with that. I would note too, the wastewater ordinance allows the select board to set aside capacity for a public purpose, and just making that clear if that decision is made for the reason why it's set aside. But that's a decision that could always be revisited by the select board. So you could reserve capacity for a period of time and then decide to allocate it as you see fit later on, just by making a new decision on how to use that capacity.
So my question is, how much would 648 gallons, how many houses could that accommodate? 2?
Approximately 2, Tom. And with regard to the North Village, I think we are looking primarily at reserving that capacity for obviously the priority areas. Again, I mentioned that there are certain business owners, property owners that based on where they're at currently are electing not to submit an application or a connection application. But where they are is really at the heart of this project, and we would anticipate that in the future that a future property owner would want to connect. Part of it was also reserving capacity for if a restaurant were to, if a restaurant business owner were to elect to install pre-treatment on their property, some of that reserve capacity could be used to increase the number of seats at that restaurant, approximately 27 gallons per seat in a restaurant setting. When we, earlier this year, when connection applications were received, we had 2 restaurant businesses that basically, I think, both submitted connection applications for 60 seats, if memory serves correct. So 120 seats system-wide. The system can't handle that. So we continued discussions with those owners about that speculative use, and have, I think, since, as the discussion continued, both of those requests have been pared back significantly, and this recommendation kind of reflects where we think things are going. And Chrissy, I don't know if you care to add anything to that.
No, I think you covered it pretty well. I think the property owners that did apply in the North Village have been very understanding of the capacity of the system and the type of waste it can accommodate, and they've been working very well with us to try to make it all work.
Any other questions? Anyone care to make a motion?
I am happy to move. I move to approve the Village Wastewater Committee's recommended allocation priorities as set forth in the Wyndham Regional Commission memo dated 12/1/2025.
Do we have a second? I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Good. All right, any other visitors and concerned citizens?
Thank you guys for your efforts with the
Yes, thank you very much.
information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No other visitors and concerned citizens? All right. Moving on to item 9, roads and bridges. 9A is updates.
What else I got in there? Truck's still sitting at Reed's, it hasn't moved to Viking yet. Under the Mountain Road, I believe, is still being worked on for a couple more days. And we're still getting equipment ready, things going on, you know, the grader and stuff like that this week. Got some salt delivered to keep the shed full and
Using some.
using some. You know, the new hires learning this. We gave him a few roads and started out easy and seems to be catching on, so I think we got a pretty good crew together and everybody's getting along and doing well, so.
Sounds good.
Good.
All right, 9B, discuss plowing parks, town hall, and town office.
I think,
Who's starting that one?
well, I'll start, maybe it's an offshoot of that, but just talking about the new fourth person, we've been talking a little bit about, Josh has been working on, you know, aligning each crew member with sections of road and new tasks and what we have, figuring out what we have the capacity for. And as far as the town office and the walkways and, you know, the new building has kind of a different routine, and plowing the driveway, or plowing the parking area is more like plowing a driveway than plowing a road. So there was some discussion last time about kind of proper equipment for that particular task. You know, putting a tandem truck, I mean, you guys used to be able
That's
to.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the walkways, we still, the parking lot is actually, now that it's smooth, it's
Makes a big difference.
pretty easy to plow.
Can't plow past the front door anymore, but
Right.
there's a little change in maintenance, but anyway, that was just bringing us up to where we were talking about last, I guess, as far
I
as.
mean, I guess with the town hall, is that something, well, like, we never plowed it in the winter, and we've never kept it open. Somebody, I think from the restaurant used to do it, but I mean, if that's something, I did it with the dump truck the other day, just to see if it could be done, and it's not fun, but it can be done. So, I mean, it's whether it really needs to be open or not.
I think there's been some requests for usage.
Well, there's
that
been a
would-
lot of requests for usage, so, but I guess you don't have to plow it unless
Well, I think, I mean,
it's being used. The
I don't
only thing
mind
is we
doing
have to
it, but
gotta stay on
coordinate.
top of it.
Yeah, you
as
probably
long
want
as it's not, like, we're gonna do the roads first, is my
right,
opinion.
yeah.
And then hit it the next day or next morning.
Yeah. So I
clean
guess
it
if you
up.
could just keep it open, like, you know, but don't, unless there's an event happening,
Right,
which I
then
guess we
prior
would
choice.
coordinate with you, yeah.
Yep.
Sounds good.
I think that seems fair, and that, maybe that kind of segues to the parks, because there used to be a contract for both of those things that we've let go. at this point,
So
so.
I've heard a couple different stories with the park, so I figure Liam's around here somewhere, and
Take it away, Liam.
we can figure out where to go from here.
About a year ago, Parks was talking about this and unanimously voted to close the parks for the winter, and therefore not renew the contract. Now that was a meeting right before select board meeting. We brought it to y'all, and you were like, yeah, that's not what we want. And we were like, okay. And I'm right in between because I was newer to the job then, and I was like, oh, I should be promoting recreation. We're closing down parks, but at the same time, it totally makes sense. So we decided we'd do a contract for 1 year, and we had the cameras up, and we took, got some information about usage. Memorial Park is barely anything. Looks like it's mostly people that live nearby that walk in, and occasionally some people parking in the evening. Who knows? Can't be that good. Thank goodness. So that was kind of an easy, like, there's really no real need for that to be spent money on. Pingree, a little more activity, but for the most part, it was really people driving in, driving out. And you can check, and there weren't that many tracks or trails. So, we set the contract, we did the thing, we came back around this year, we did not budget for the contract. It wasn't our plan to get one. And there was conversation about roads potentially plowing a little bit of the parks. And we found out that with the way that Pingree currently is, that entrance is not appropriate for the giant trucks. And that makes sense because it does kind of bank down and away. And it's a pretty steep drop off. So if something were to go wrong there, I think it would be kind of an epic go wrong. So adjusting to that, the Parks Board is not interested in signing a contract and paying money. The gates are currently closed, locked, and the parks are closed. I posted that the parks are closed to vehicle traffic. Parks are still open for use. I think that's important for people to know. And so then when we had our last storm, I went ahead, say under the guise of MTR and recreation, and snowblowed the entrance to Pingree to the gate. So there are about 2 spaces there. And was working on doing the same at Memorial when a kind citizen came by with a plow and looked at me like I was an idiot and offered to help and just pushed it right through. So both spots are currently parkable. So to me, I feel like that's a happy medium, and I'm happy to continue doing that. Shameless plug, your donations of bottles and cans to the transfer station or taken directly to Western Redemption funds NTR. It's our only steady source of funding. And NTR is happy to buy a few gallons of fuel, and I'll keep those spaces clear. Part of that also, and I think this plays into the bigger conversation with roads as well, if we don't clear those spots, I feel pretty confident eventually somebody's going to use the park, and they're going to park either in the roadway that is private at Pingree or the roadway over at Gravel, or I guess the next turn at Memorial. So it just seems like clearing a little bit makes sense for a lot of reasons. And if that's easy in the realm for roads, obviously they're going to make quick work of it. But at the same time, I completely understand that if it's not, and there's a bigger conversation I think we're going to have for next year versus having a conversation 2 storms into the season. So that, I don't know if we want to get into that. That's Parks and MTR for now.
Sounds fun to me.
I think roads would probably agree that it's not an easy thing to go into Pingree Park. You certainly couldn't go and do the 2 spots with the gate closed and back out. You know, that would be harder than going into the park, you know, which we've already kind of said.
Like I was telling Liam earlier, you know, if we'd had discussed it a little earlier and figured out the game plan, I mean, our pickup Memorial Park, if it doesn't have to be done right away, just like with the town hall, sure. It's the sanding part, we don't have a sander. So if we plow and it ices up, you know, whether Liam wants to shovel some sand or, you know, I guess, I agree, we should all be working together and figuring this out. But to get a big truck with our sanders are back behind the cab, so we're not gonna sand the whole parking area anyways.
No.
So that's,
I think it opens up the potential for conversation about another approach, either with a different piece of equipment or another contract. Even if it's just for, you know, doing in front of the gate, or unless that's something that, you know, is perpetual of being able to snow blow. But again, I think the sand that's sort of the pivotal thing, that some storms it may be okay and other ones it's not, and we don't want to, you know, create it.
well, somebody's slipping and falling.
Right, if you plow it, you gotta be able to sand it.
Yeah.
And that part of bringing this up, because if it's not appropriate, I mean, NTR is me, I don't have staff. So if I get injured or go on vacation in the storm, parks not getting cleared, the area's not getting cleared. And if it is all of a sudden an ice storm, I mean, I guess I could be out there with a bucket and a cup, spreading some ice, but it's not necessarily the most practical. I just know parks, they've been pretty consistent, you know, I can't necessarily speak for them, I guess, but I can. I'm at their meetings, but I'm not on the board. They do not want to, they're fine with parks being closed. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, in an ideal world, if there was a vehicle that worked if there was a sander on back at 1 ton, it's just not where we're at. You know, that vehicle's not set up, and also that's then costing Londonderry taxpayers more money to make that thing function. So
It's complicated pretty quickly. And I think not having a specific routine is something that it's hard for a municipality to manage something like that, where, you know, it's great that there's still people that would say, hey, I can give you a hand with that, but there's also, anytime we have volunteers, there's like protocol everywhere you look these days. It wasn't always that way, but just something to be aware of.
My thought is just from a liability standpoint is we don't plow anything there, because like Josh said, if it gets slippery and someone falls, then.
then we only do a half job, and it falls on us.
Good, I would think.
Yep. That's just my thought.
I have the same thought.
I would agree.
So in that world, if people are gonna go to Pingree, so if you imagine that private drive, and then just snow in the gate, the only place they're gonna be able to park, and there's not enough room to pass by, in wintertime especially. So hopefully we'll just try, and we'll just deal with that when it comes about, which I'm fine with. I'm just, you know,
Yeah.
I have to imagine somebody eventually is gonna park there.
Well, and that'll be their choice, that's on them at that point. Parking in a private drive is a separate issue, I guess. And, I mean, there's other work that's gonna be going on in the same area because of potential number of houses on that road. So, I mean, there could be changes coming to that area that would then affect maybe how we're able to maintain it, or maybe do a little work in conjunction with some other work that's going on at the same time but it's like we're just not quite there yet either.
Yep.
But it does seem like there's gonna be stuff happening, at Pingree anyway. No changes at Memorial necessarily.
Is it worth putting no parking signs on the road? We don't own the road, right?
No, it's a private road.
No, that's a private road.
There always used to be signs on Lowell Lake Road because of the same type of activity that said no
Yeah.
parking as per select board order, and I think all the signs have just about disappeared by now, but it was a thing at some point, long before
Yeah.
probably any of us were there, but
Well, eventually the snowbank will be big enough that no one's gonna be able to get in there anyway, so.
Memorial was there.
Yeah.
And it was taking me a minute to get through it.
Yeah.
we could truck some snow in, maybe.
Just a little back off the edges.
But-
Okay,
Sounds like we're in agreement.
so we say no snow blow.
Yeah, I think it's best for, until we have a way to sand it, we shouldn't do that, I don't think.
Saves me some work. But I'm on record that I was ready to try.
Yeah.
For the people.
Your efforts did not go unnoticed, I'm sure.
Alright. Do we want a motion for that, or just?
I mean, the parks already voted
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
close the
Yeah,
parks, so I
general
don't think you
knowledge.
need to,
Yep,
I'll just stand down.
yeah.
sounds good. Alright, moving on to 9C, review and approve Spring Hill Road Culvert HTA contract amendment.
Okay, so, the Spring Hill Road, the easement part, dragged on for longer than we expected. And we did finally manage to get both easements, and they've been approved, the, right-of-way plan has been approved by, V-Trans. And so we're ready to move forward, with everything, but in the process, the, amount with the cost went up. And so, Hoyle and Tanner, provided us with a contract amendment, which is in your packet, and we just need to authorize it and.
What was it? It was $20,000 more, I think?
Yeah, I think that was the amount.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Dave Culvert.
This has been a learning process for sure.
Yep.
How to handle these easements and these culverts.
Anyone care to make a motion?
I move to approve the Spring Hill Road Culvert, Hoyle and Tanner contract amendment and authorize the town administrator to sign on behalf of the town.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 9D, discuss list for possible HSIP 2027 grant application.
Okay, so that was also a learning curve on the original grant, because it turned out there was some documentation that they didn't tell us that we needed, that was on the paint cans that had subsequently been thrown out. So the state relented and will pay us for the line striping, edge striping grant. And meanwhile, the new round of grant applications is open. I think it was February 2nd it's due, is off the top of my head. And I had an initial conversation with Josh and Taylor about what we could possibly, what we would want to use it for. I think guardrails were part of the one of the lists. Stop bars, edge striping if there's more roads, we want to do that.
Plastic too, right, or something?
Was
Like hammering maybe, or rock
like
removal?
rock,
The Boynton Road corner.
I thought
was that
about
on
that
there?
too.
Okay, I think I
I mean,
skipped
we
over that
still
one.
have a lot of guardrails that we can definitely repair and stuff, so.
The ones by Gale Meadows came to mind,
We
was that,
did Gale Meadows.
that one was done?
Gale Meadows
Okay.
we did, and
I know, yeah, I know
Edgehill.
some were already installed,
Edgehill.
right? So it's they're limited to the things that were in that, email, which I should have brought up for this conversation, but I didn't. But, so basically I just was looking for a list of things that you might want me to go out for the grant, and if we can narrow it down and I can go out for it. If we get it, we can do it.
This says, curve signage,
That's right.
Including chevrons, delineators, and advanced warning signs, intersection signage, stop signs, yield signs, advanced warning signs, edge line striping. I mean, we could do edge line striping just about every year probably, right? I mean, that might be a rotating thing to apply for anyway.
We now know to keep the cans, so.
Stop bar and crosswalk pavement markings, I don't know if we have stop bars maybe, but I don't know about anything
I
else.
assume a stop bar is the line that,
Yeah.
is that a stop sign? Okay.
Rumble strips, at one point, we talked about coming into the villages with those, and it didn't get much support, I
I
guess.
don't recommend that one, but.
Well, and it would be on the state highways too, so it probably wouldn't even work.
Yeah.
Replacement of damaged or deteriorated guardrail, no new installation, but repairs,
Right,
so.
which we have four bridges that are pretty, I mean, we haven't done guardrails since I've worked here, so.
The only new ones are the ones that were damaged in flooding or
Right.
replaced, like Reinhardt's and,
No, I mean, there's Spring Hill Bridge, there's Boynton Road Bridge.
and then the last part of,
Very ones.
the last part of that, oh yeah, by Keating's Field, right? That bridge is,
Yeah.
that's like more than.
That one and the far one. So we definitely could do some guardrail repair,
Okay,
would be,
that'd be your first choice.
The last item on that list was fixed object removal such as trees or ledge. So depending on how much money we can ask
It's a
for.
grant of 50,000 maximum. I don't know if we can ask for more than one thing. I haven't looked at the application, but if you want, I think we probably also have to specify the roads. So you guys want to just send me the list of the roads and the things? I can
Yeah, I think
fill it out.
there's
the
a,
Boynton Road project would be a good one for ledge and tree removal. And then just figure out all the guardrails. It'd take a minute to remember them all.
and
Okay. Yeah.
then would we just do line striping again too?
I mean, if you can do multiple, I guess.
If,
We have-
yeah,
I guess
and then
that's a
if you're saying okay, I guess that's a good question to ask before we
If
go
we
down
have
this
to
road.
yeah.
Prioritize
Yeah.
that
I
thing.
mean, I'd
Yeah.
go with the guardrails in my eyes, but.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we'll just, I put it on the agenda just to bring it up
Yeah,
in a wider set, but we can work on that separately.
good.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Good.
thank you.
Moving on to item 10, town official business. 10A, we moved. 10B, town staff. B1, discuss responsibility for posting agendas of committees and boards.
Okay, well, so, the town staff, which consists of, us three, it's, 2 elected officials, 1 appointed official. And I did write a little memo up about, the responsibilities, that we already have, so I'm responsible for you guys, agendas, minutes, packets, attending your meetings. Ally runs the BCA and the BOA, that's the Board of Civil Authority and the Board of Abatement. Tina doesn't have any particular ones. Short-term rental administrator handles the short-term rental working group. Assessor handles the Lister board. Will, the zoning administrator, handles the DRB. Liam handles Parks and Rec and the MTR, and also has been taking over the town hall renovation committee agendas and minutes. But that still leaves like 7 or 8 committees that we it probably doesn't seem random to the people who are sending them to us, but to us it's very random. That can come at any time, and often in any format. And I'm often off-site, they're very public facing, so they'll have customers come in constantly during the day, they'll be on the phone. It's just not realistic to expect that minutes, agendas specifically are going to be warned properly all the time. And at the end of the day, I feel strongly that it is the responsibility of the committees themselves to abide by open meeting law. So that means that they are responsible at the end of the day to make sure that their meetings are properly warned. So we made a proposal, which I have lost since I closed it down.
25.
Yeah.
What's that?
Page 25 in the
Okay,
packet.
did we get back to it? Bear with me. There it is. Okay, so the proposal for that is that each committee shall be responsible for properly warning their meetings, and that will consist of physically posting the agendas at the town post office, the South Londonderry post office, the town office, and the town website. And this shall be the responsibility of the chairs of each committee, although the chairs can delegate the task to any committee member willing and able to complete the task. Each committee will also be responsible for the timely posting of their meeting minutes to the website, as well as any video or recording if they are required to do so. And then the second issue that has come up, specifically in Ally's wheelhouse, is that she's the custodian of public records, and meeting minutes and agendas are public records. And we don't have a really good, consistent way of keeping physical copies of those records. They are kept electronically on our SharePoint site, and the last probably 3 or 4 years, I can't remember how many we kept on the website, they're there as well. But if anybody wanted to come and do research on 2018 Conservation Commission, all bets are off. So, which is not ideal. So, and we just don't have the capacity to consistently make sure that all of those minutes are properly accounted for. So, the proposed solution for that is that each committee shall be responsible for posting the physical copies for keeping in the town vault. And this shall be the responsibility of the chairs of each committee, although the chairs can delegate the task to any committee member willing and able to complete the task. This task is not something that is statutorily needs to be done, 5 days after the meeting, so it could be done quarterly, it could be done yearly, whatever works best for each committee, and it can be accomplished during town office hours or after hours when agendas are posted at the town office. All the committee chairs have the what do we call it? Door number, to the copy room, which is where the key to the town bulletin board is. And Ally has created some what do you call them? Binders.
Yeah, 3-ring binders
for every
each
single committee,
so
which
they
is
can-
in the copy room, so you don't physically have to put them in the vault.
No, they can live there, and once full, then I will archive them. And do my
So,
part of that they're there and ready to just.
Yeah. So frankly, this has come up to the select board because we received some pushback as to whether this was our job or their job, and so we're bringing it to you to decide because you're the deciders.
Should open for discussion, questions?
I'd like to address this, and I'm not a member of any committee, but I'm married to one. And you mentioned, ma'am, you mentioned that you guys are busy because you have your job and it's busy and you're forward-facing yourself. We have a full-time job with the business we run. Yeah.
Yep.
We have a job with the business that we run. And she still finds time to run around and post at the South Londonderry Post Office, at the Town Hall, at the Londonderry Post Office. And she sends an email over, and then you post it online, which she doesn't have access to post online yet, but you've offer training, but that doesn't exist yet. And you have access to your vaults. We do our job, you're here in your job. I don't understand why it's a big deal.
I just have a question, how many people are on your committee?
I'm not on any committee.
I mean, the committee that you're speaking of,
There's 5.
how many places do you have to post your agenda?
3 or 4.
I just
I don't-
just wanna put that as a point.
What was the question though?
My question, it wasn't really a question, I guess a statement, is
What's
that
the
you,
statement?
that you were saying that they're not doing, that I'm not doing my job. But
not
I'm saying
that
that
you're
shouldn't that be part of the
It's
committee's
good
job?
for you.
And I don't see
You're
that,
asking for volunteers to volunteer.
Alright.
I think that's
Hold on.
part of your volunteer.
You're supposed to be addressing the chair.
I apologize, she's addressing us.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So, we're not on the town payroll. She's on the town payroll. But she makes sure she does it, and she makes sure she does calls if she's gonna be, closer to an end of day. But now you're trying to dump all this on them and say, you're responsible for it. It's like, she's already doing a lot for the town. And I just feel this was, I don't want to say vindictive, but it was very specific, the way the thing came out. And I just want to express my concerns about that.
Noted.
I'll also speak to it from the perspective of the volunteers on these committees. They are volunteering their time, they're volunteering their expertise. In some cases, they're working and living remotely at periods of time, and being here may not be on their calendar for a particular week. We're also in the business, I believe in the budget, of adding another staff member to the office, an administrative assistant. And maybe we spend a year or so looking at what time involvement is required by having that individual have this responsibility, but clock the timing and whatever. But I think you've got a group of people on these various committees who are volunteering and delivering their expertise and their time for that. And I think they feel, at least the ones that I've spoken with, that this is a big step up for them to have to do. So I'm recognizing that side of the argument.
I would acknowledge that the delicate situation involved with volunteers. Volunteers are hard to come by for sure, and the harder we make it for people to volunteer, the less volunteerism survives, so.
Yeah.
It might be, I think the idea of having an additional person in the office, maybe take that on as so that it's.
Yeah, just quantify.
It's not still
yeah.
a burden for an individual, but it's,
Mm-hmm.
maybe still a paid task in that regard.
I think, and I appreciate the feedback that we've been getting. I brought this up partially because I also am a select board member in another town, and that's the way that they do it. So it's not a big ask from them. I think my main concern about having staff do it, and this has come up, and I did write down a lot of issues we've been having, is that, like I said, I'm not always on site. We have vacations, we have sick time, we've had agendas come in at 5:30 in the evening, none of us are here. I get a lot of email. I don't know about these guys, but I mean, my mailbox is full by the morning. So you send it, you think you send it timely, it might not get posted until it's too late. So agendas specifically, they need to be posted 48 hours in advance of a regular meeting and 24 hours in advance of a special meeting. And if you're asking the town staff to do part of that, there's a very large chance that it won't get done, in which case you can't have the meeting. So, I mean, that's the way that it's been working. And like I said, we've had numerous issues. recently we had a hearing that had to be canceled because it didn't make it into the paper. We had a housing commission agenda come in on a holiday, and it wasn't properly, it came in, if we were there, it would have been properly warned, but we weren't there, so it was not a properly warned meeting. We've had, and like I said, we've had them come in different formats, so that we have to download it, we have to convert it, we have to bring it back up. Sometimes they don't have the right date on them, so we have to send them back. It's a recipe for failure. And I feel also that a lot of these committees are already posting at the post office and the South Londonderry post office. We're asking them to do 2 more tasks, or come 5 minutes up the road and post here, and post on the website, which they could do at any time of the day. And we're only here 8:30 to 4. So.
Is there any thought about having an electronic billboard or page that people could see at the various post offices that would list? I mean, it would just sort of scroll repetitively.
I'm not sure that's legal, but
Well,
that's a good idea.
I mean, I'm trying to think
it's
about
an
how to use
outdated-
technology.
It's
If
an
you-
outdated law, right? I mean, they're asking us to do something that,
Right.
how many people come up here to physically look at the board, right? So,
But
but
it's
we're working,
required.
but we're working with
But
state
it's-
statute,
yeah.
so, and I have had
Delegate,
constituents
think
in
about
Putney
different
walk
solutions for
around and go,
meetings.
oh, your meeting wasn't properly
Yeah.
warned. So
Yeah,
people
think
do
about, see how we can
check
combine
that.
it, see if we can help
Um,
both.
But,
Yep.
Eileen, can I make a comment?
I'm
Go
not
ahead,
the chair,
Gary.
so sure.
Oh, sorry. Right, Tom, may I make a comment?
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
All right, thank you. I certainly can see the level of things coming into town offices, everybody's schedules being a consideration, and I can see why there's this request. In my experience, which was joining a committee to fill out that committee's roster and then slowly moving up and now being chair of that committee, I had to take over doing the minutes because they weren't being done in a timely fashion. I've had to oftentimes take over, getting the agendas to you guys, and unfortunately I also have to take over getting them posted physically, because delegation doesn't work a lot of times with committees. You send out an email just saying, are you guys going to be able to make the meeting, and it's just non-responsive. We can't be very heavy-handed in trying to bring a horse to water with our committees, because that really, I think, just that's not, people aren't going to want to be part of a committee where you've got somebody trying to rule with an iron fist. So in my experience with the wastewater committee, I would say that with each meeting, between actually getting the agenda out, doing the postings, writing up the minutes, attending the meeting, and then all of the sidebar conversations, I'm guessing that it's easily, over the last couple of months, it's probably been like 16 to 20 hours a month. And that is all happening most of the time during business hours. So that's a big ask, and I understand that you're not asking for a lot more, but it's incremental. It's kind of adding up. I mean, I asked you whether or not the filing of of everything in the vault could be done on an annual basis, and if that's the case, then I have no problem compiling all the minutes and all the agendas and everything that I've got saved on my personal desktop, putting it into a PDF and hitting send to you guys once, let you guys print it out and getting it submitted. I don't think that I should have to be printing out 180 pages of documents on my own personal printer at home. to basically file them with town. So maybe there's a middle ground here, and I wanted to ask also, are we even required to post at the post offices?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that, we
Yeah,
are?
we
Okay.
have to have 3 physical locations.
Okay.
And so, we could pick different ones come March when the select board reorgs. Sorry, Tommy, should have been a student. But they have to be, those 3 places that we're posting are the places that we picked. So,
I think my response to your email, Eileen, I think was a little bit more kind of in the middle, and I certainly can see both sides of the equation being in the position that I'm on here. So ultimately, whatever the decision is, I'm going to go along with it because we, as a committee, have been called, earlier on, we had, received several open meeting law notices of violation, if you will, and that was kind of when I came into the chair position, was trying to get the course corrected. And since that time, I kind of feel like I've been the one carrying a lot of the water, and everybody's busy. So it's not as easy as just delegating, because when things get delegated, oftentimes they get forgotten, unfortunately. And I think the work that we're doing as committees across the town is important. I don't want to see it end. So either way, I'm going to go with whatever the select board decides. But that's just kind of my feedback. Is it's a pretty time-consuming position for the wastewater committee at this juncture. Hopefully, it's going to start to tail off soon.
Yeah, so recognizing that there's more committees in town than there has been before. So that's a lot of little things interrupting your day, I get that. But because the Housing Commission one landed on me, and I've shared with you all during the volunteer interviews that volunteers do need some support. That's how you continue to keep them engaged. I didn't have that as a holiday, so it never even occurred to me that it wouldn't be a holiday. So maybe just even an increase of communication back and forth to make sure that folks can do it the right way could be helpful for that too.
I will be more than happy to print anything out for anybody. We have mailboxes, you could put them in your mailbox, you could put them in your notebook. When you're here for a meeting, everybody has access to the copy room.
the printing out of minutes and stuff may be something that, if
You can also bring a
new
thumb drive
assistant
and plug it
is,
into the copier if you
yeah.
so choose as well.
The printing out of minutes, the printing could be done by the
Yeah.
new full-time too.
that's-
It's, for me, it's the increasing, risk we're running with, agendas not being posted timely.
I think that's where the cooperation is required,
Well, it'd be-
if it's gonna be asked of you, it has to give you enough time and capacity to be able to help.
Well,
If
yeah,
it's beyond your control before you even receive it, then that system isn't working. for
I'm
sure,
also
so.
a little wary of the idea that I'm gonna post it here and you're gonna post it over there. For the select board, I feel better if I post all four places. So having one person be responsible for posting an agenda so that it's posted timely, I think is a better recipe than having, somebody say, yeah, I'll do it, and then forget, or their printer breaks, or they get in a car accident, whatever. It just, when we're all three getting an email and we're all kind of assuming that the other person's gonna do it, that doesn't really work. And yet, if you only send it to me, well, I work remotely on Wednesdays, I don't know, I have a sick kid on Friday, who knows, right? So,
I not only get town, but I also get county, so I actually probably get about,
She gets all the school.
I get all the school, all the county, Wyndham Regional, I'm probably 15 agendas minutes a day in my email, so it's
Yeah.
very easy for me to
Miss one.
miss one, or if there's corrected. I mean, sometimes some of those, if I find an error and have to go back and forth, we're talking 15 emails just on one agenda correction. It's just a lot that, I mean, I've stayed after my hours to make sure that I'm like, okay, this one's done, this, like, and that's not printing or anything, that's just getting them online and out on the bulletin board.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I think especially posting them online would be a huge help, if the committee chairs could do that.
Can I add to that? So when we received the memo, the electronic posting to the website would make things more efficient and faster. And if someday that becomes the official posting, that would be nice.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah.
A lot of noise coming.
Yeah.
But between the volunteers, that's easy. It's getting in the car and driving around. That sometimes we have to herd, I call it herding cats, because we don't know where our volunteers are and who can do it. The archives was concerning to us because that felt official and scary, and even the reference to the vault was concerning. Allison showed me the method, which is pretty straightforward, but it's a third stop. So, and it's bringing in we do hard copies at the post office, so it's just part of the herding cats thing. That's all.
When you're here for a meeting.
Yeah, it could be, I mean, so I moved them out of the vault and now they're in the copy room, so like when you're here for an actual meeting or, I mean, that can be.
That's fine,
Yeah, and
as
it's
long
not,
as they're not.
and we're not on a time constraint on that, so that's, but, yeah, I am, obviously, we've gotten hit very hard in records requests, and some of those turn into open meeting violations if they can't produce the minutes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to circumvent you guys too, because that's not fun for you guys as committees to handle open meeting law violations either. That's a waste, if you look, everybody's time. So if we can try to circumvent any of those hiccups before they even occur.
And if you look at state statute, the open meeting violations are actually on the committees, not the town.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's
They are the
other
ones who
piece.
can get in trouble.
Yeah, they're not gonna come after me if I don't post your stuff online, they're gonna come after you.
Sure, I'm just gonna reiterate, but we shouldn't be doing this in a silo ourselves either. So just any of that communication to help make sure that things are going well is super important. Because people have, it's not, thankfully there's a lot of retired people who are on committees, but it's not all retired people. So we have our own obligations during the day too, and families and things. So that help is needed.
What is the board's opinion? Are we ready to vote on this, or do we need time to think about it?
Well, I'm wondering whether or not there would be adjustments to the proposed
Yeah, I was gonna,
regulation based on kind of the conversation. If there is the capacity for this new individual, perhaps in the office, to manage some of these committees that are not under already somebody's purview, then maybe that's what we do for a period of time and trial it. Sounds like we got affirmation that you could get the download of information once a year, if that was easy for some of the committees to do. I don't know.
Sounds like we want to think about it more.
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm with you on the, I was with what you were saying. I think we should think about it, take the feedback we got tonight and
All right.
I think a lot of the help
Revise
is
the-
gonna come from several directions, so.
yes.
Yeah, I just, I'm totally fine with whatever way we go. I just want to make it clear that because we're staff, we are not here, obviously, 24/7. And if we do give the committees the freedom, I would say, to post whenever they want to, I mean, really, you could post it but with constraints for the post office being open, obviously, but you have a lot more freedom to post your agendas than to, you know, make sure that you do it 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, not on holidays.
I would encourage the chairs to learn how to get it posted on the website though, because I think that would
With
definitely.
the exception of South Londonderry, you can come here anytime. Londonderry Post Office is open 24.
The lobby's open all.
Well, South Londonderry does have that outside,
Yeah.
which I have posted there before. 'Cause,
Oh, yeah, the post.
yeah, I have had to post there before because it was
Yeah.
locked, and then I move it inside the next day. But
Yeah,
all right, we will take some time to think about that.
cool, thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for
Thanks
your
for
input.
working on it.
10C, Parks Director. C1 is discuss transfer station bottle shed. I think this has been resolved, does it not?
This is kind of just officially
Yep.
putting it out there, so, I don't know what we technically call the two different sheds there, there's the enclosed structure.
I don't know if we have a name for the
Yeah.
newer one.
There's a name, Daily, it was, there's.
Lawrence Daily is the building.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the enclosed structure where we process and store. And then the open shed next to it has been for bottles and cans. We used to have the Gaylords there for all the massive amounts of glass. We got rid of that process, and soon after that, right before I was going to start using it for the new setup, it got kind of absorbed into being used for employees. So, talking with Keith, he gave me the thumbs up to come here and say, we're shifting that back to bottles and cans. It's a little late in the season now, but we'll probably turn it to face and just make a little alcove there. And that will now be filled with all the blue bins, so we don't have to worry about them getting filled with snow, getting blown over, and there'll be extra of them there, so if they do get full, I don't have to go there 6 days a week to pull them inside. Folks can continue to fill other ones. So just making it official. It's back to bottles and cans.
Sounds good, thank you. 10D.
Don't forget to bring your bottles and cans.
10D, Town Hall Renovation Committee. D1, review and approve soft cost allocation increase request for MERP.
You wanna
Yeah, I'm
explain?
gonna step out from the
From your little.
Yeah, so it's nice to see everyone. Thanks for having me back. I was gonna give a general project update. I can hold off on that, but I can speak specifically first to the scope amendment request and the kind of increase to the soft cost budget for this project. So basically, right through MERP, originally what was applied for in funding by the town was approximately, I think, $330,000 for town office renovations, and then around $120,000 was allocated to the town hall. Since that kind of original allocation, the town office has been able to access, I would say, around $230,000 in MERP funding for the renovations. And this left basically an extra pot of around, let's say, $90,000 that is now kind of being reallocated to the town hall. As a result of that, I've been working with Eileen, with Liam, with the town hall renovation committee to basically identify some additions to the scope of work. So we can use that $90,000 to take a pretty good step with the building renovations. There's always been discussion with this group about pursuing renovations that can transform the town hall into a more usable year-round space. And I think this extra $90,000 will get us a lot closer to that in theory. And so now we're looking at adding some items to the grant scope of work. There's another agenda item that specifically speaks to that. But basically what we're looking to do primarily is comprehensive thermal envelope work on the building, comprehensive insulation, air sealing, and we made a formal request to BGS to petition for that scope change. They actually approved it in record timing, so now we're looking at a bigger project for the town hall, which is exciting, looking to do some transformational work there. So this first agenda item basically speaks to our, WRC's PM contract with the town in recognizing that the scope of work is expanding. We're proposing an increase in our project management allocation of $4,000. The original contract amount was for, I believe, $21,800, and that was the entirety of the soft cost allocation. As a reminder for MERC, that's money for project management, but also permitting fees, legal review, design, right? So even though our contract with the town was $21,800, we knew that we were going to have to set aside some of that for those other non-construction activities, basically. So what we're proposing is a $4,000 increase to basically WRC's budget, and that will leave, I think, around $12,000 to $13,000 in dedicated funding for permitting, design, legal review, all that stuff. So I'm happy to speak to kind of the work that we've been doing in a more general sense, but we feel this is very reasonable given the expanding scope of work and what we hope to do with the project. Generally speaking too, what I'll say is this $90,000 was sort of required, this extra $90,000 extra, we're required by MERC basically to pursue thermal envelope work first, but if we can think about HVAC, the resiliency, and there's money in the budget for that after we've done all of the weatherization work, I think that's something that we're thinking about, and we want to make this money go as far as possible. And, we have an order that we have to hit on, so that extra WRC money would basically support potential future expansions of the scope if we end up there. So that's my kind of pitch on that item. Happy to discuss though, answer questions or just talk generally as well.
I think it's only fair, given you're going to have more work to do. You get a little more money. That's pretty reasonable. Anyone care to make a motion?
I move to approve the allocation of MERP funding related renovations to the town hall as follows: $5,800 WRC project management and $12,684 for other MERP related soft costs.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
We're just gonna move on to the next one. A2, review and approve MERC scope request.
So this is what I was alluding to. We've commissioned BGS basically to add a couple of items, specifically the installation of attic hatches that are insulated and weather stripped in the town hall. That's kind of the low-hanging fruit thermal envelope thing that we can do for, it would be fairly cost effective as well. There are several holes leading to the attic. In addition to that, we added attic insulation and air sealing to the scope of work again. And I'll just back up a second. All of the proposed scope additions were substantiated through recommendations from the energy audits that were conducted on the building. So these aren't just coming out of thin air, they're informed. But attic insulation, that's generally speaking kind of a slam dunk from an efficiency perspective. We're going to be working on that, as well as insulation and air sealing in the walls. Aside from that, I think we inserted some language basically just to specify that some of the work that we were pursuing in the basement that was recommended in the audit didn't necessarily get explicitly outlined in the scope of work, just making sure that that language is in there so we don't get in a situation where we go to replace that horrible hatch in the town hall and it's not covered even though it's recommended in the original. So that's that scope of basically saying that.
Any insulation in that building's gonna be an improvement.
I was gonna say, does that include keeping the possum out of the...
He was so cute.
Once he's dead.
I think he would have been cute while he was still alive.
Anyone care to make that motion?
Sure. I move to approve the amended MERF scope and authorize the town administrator to sign on behalf of the town.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And A3, review and accept bid for town hall renovation basement.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it says.
Pretty much
So we
straightforward.
got, Anand wrote some, RFPs, and, there was one for the, basement insulation and encapsulation, piece, and then there was one for the windows. We didn't get any bids for the windows, but we did get 2 from, for the basement, and the committee met and recommended, Vermont foam insulation as the top bidder.
That was definitely needed.
Definitely.
I've personally done a lot of business with Vermont foam insulation, and I know this type of thing is exactly what they do. And it's expensive work, but this money comes back exponentially just from in fuel costs. It's incredible sometimes how significant it can be, especially in an extremely leaky building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think part of this project is to help reduce the moisture issue in the basement as well, so that'll go a long way.
Yep. Anyone care to make that motion?
Sure. I move to accept the proposal for Vermont Foam Insulation to provide services relating to basement insulation of the town hall, estimated to cost $25,084.25, and 2, authorize the town administrator to execute any documents necessary for the hiring of the contractor to conduct the necessary work.
Second. Oh,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
good job.
Okay, item 10E, Planning Commission.
That's me. Emma Spalding, Planning Commission. The Planning Commission would like to know if there is any interest in creating an ordinance regarding abandoned derelict buildings. Towns do have these. Safety and health issues are the main concerns.
I think we have a couple buildings that
I think,
come to mind.
yeah, I mean, we do have a zoning regulation that limits the time frame, doesn't it? Didn't we run into this with other houses that burn?
Yeah, if it burns, it's supposed to be demolished within a year, I believe. That's what it is. But as you can see in some instances, that has not occurred in town.
It becomes an issue of enforcement.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't hurt to have an ordinance.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea.
I would agree, it's a good idea.
I didn't.
I would agree, it's a good idea.
I think we're in agreement of making one.
Go right ahead.
So then the next question is, where do you want it to come from?
You mean like from us or from you guys?
Yeah, from the select board, or do you want the planning commission to work on it with James coming, when we're working on it, as the liaison between the select board and the planning commission?
Well,
Do you have?
this should be, we should be able to find one from another town that
Yeah,
we
I
can.
mean,
We have
do
copies
you already
from-
have,
Okay.
You
do you
shouldn't
wanna?
have to rewrite it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy
She's-
to work on it with you guys if you want.
Yeah, it shouldn't be crazy.
No,
To do.
should be able to maybe tweak of things here, and there.
I don't know if they would have them, but I know that there are towns, I know Brattleboro
You said you
has
guys,
one.
you guys have
I've
some?
got Copies of
Yeah.
the 5, we've got copies from Wyndham, Cavendish, Ludlow, Weedsboro, and Corinth, so,
No.
And
Yeah, I
they
think
have, they all have those in place.
yep.
Yeah, I
And
think
then there's a junk from Wilmington, it's Wilmington, there's a junk ordinance from, I don't wanna say Wallingford. Yeah.
Those
that
are really
would
hard to
fly.
enforce though.
Yeah.
Junk on the lawn? sort of
Yeah,
thing?
like junk,
Yeah.
just junk, well, yeah, define junk. That's why it's hard to enforce. Yeah,
One man's junk is another man's treasure.
exactly.
It's a matter of opinion.
That's
So in the new year.
Yeah, the New Year's probably the best time,
Okay.
but, yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Alright, item 11, transfer station solid waste management. 11A is updates, I have no updates. Item 12 is old business, we have nothing. Item 13, new business. 13A, approved fiscal year 2027 budget.
We put this on here just on the off chance that you were all set with it and all good with it, but we don't have to do it today.
Yeah, I think I need to,
There's probably some things that you need to tweak.
yeah, there is a couple.
Yeah, there was a
things
couple things in there.
Yeah,
Alright, so
So
table
I'll
it.
send out another copy and we'll plan on doing it.
We'll do
at
that.
the next
Yep.
meeting.
Is it the next, when's the one?
We need to do the warning in the budget by the 19th. Or
By the
20th.
20,
Yeah.
we can do it by the 20th,
Yeah,
right?
by
Because
the
the 19th
20th.
is
Of
the.
January?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna talk about, yeah.
No.
Those are the-
Yeah, it's in
the
here.
20th is-
We'll have
the
2
19th
meetings by then.
birthday is split, the warning.
Yeah, it's
So
13D.
if you want to do, I'll have it ready for the next meeting, whichever one you want to do it at.
Yep.
Sounds good. 13B, review and approve change order for town office renovation.
So I think the number that we would put in that, the motion, somebody will have to double check my math, it's 114,256?
Yes.
Yep.
So that's the 3,800. That's the amount minus the 3,800 that we were planning on subtracting.
That John Sicoccio has told us, we said,
Yeah.
no, we should hold back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I, having come into the middle of the town renovation process, I'm not very familiar with how to close this out, so, but I wrote it as best I could, so this would be intended to close out the project.
Well, they were saying that they were gonna come back and actually do the flashing. So I don't know if we wanna
Yeah.
fully close it out.
I don't know, I kind of feel like we should.
Or we just close it out and if they come back, they
If they
come
come
back.
back, and if they don't, then we just do the flashing.
Yep, sounds good. Anyone care to make that motion? Anybody write down the number?
I did not write
I
it
did
down.
not.
I have it.
It's 1,114,
No.
114, 256.
256.
114,256.
114,256. All right, I can do it. I move to approve all final change orders for the town office renovation project and to authorize payment of $1,142.
No, it's 114.
114,000.
$114,256. Let me read it again. $114,256 to GPI to close out the project and authorize the town administrator to execute any related documents.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 13C, review housing commission article request.
Similar to last year, the Housing Commission is advocating an article that be warned for town meeting 26. And this would be to appropriate $25,000 to the Community Economic
Improvement Reserve Fund.
Improvement Reserve Fund, thank you very much. Recall last year, we made a request, a similar request, because we feel strongly that it's in the interest of both businesses and housing to just have a vital community, and this fund would help fund what we would describe as mainly capital projects. It would help provide matching funds for grants that are received. It would essentially, the purpose of the fund is to plan, promote, implement economic recovery, revitalization, and development efforts in Londonderry. So the types of things that are funded aren't necessarily housing, we're just raising our hand to get it on your attention, your radar for town meeting.
And recognizing that economic development takes investment, and so having the funds there when a project is ready to be invested in is an important feature of it.
Sounds good.
So, yeah, that's it. Just didn't quite know the process, if this is something that the select board puts on voluntarily, but we're raising our hand and just advocating that it happen again. Thanks.
Alright.
do you have a handy list of what has been drawn out of that fund this year, if anything?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing's
Oh,
ever
okay,
been
okay.
taken out of
So
it.
it's,
Didn't
Well,
we
we
took,
Use some for the floodproofing?
yeah, for the flood
we did
proofing.
take that out,
Yeah,
yeah,
So it was like
yeah.
it wasn't very much, it was
3,000 or
something
something.
like that, yeah.
oh, okay.
It's about the only thing we've ever taken out of it, I think.
Okay.
It's, I mean, the purpose is really as a reserve fund for potentially larger projects that aren't necessarily in budgets.
I think the matching funds thing is a really important reason for that. I think that was one of the big topics in putting, or asking for it last year, was the, for matching funds, like, so that, as you mentioned, when something does come up, it's there and you don't have to wait and miss an opportunity or something like that, so.
Meet the moment.
Right.
We have a motion, I don't really know if we need it.
I don't know, I don't know if
It
you've
just
done
needs
that
to go on.
before,
Yeah.
so if you're,
If you want it on the warning.
we could just put it on the
Yeah.
warning, yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
just put it on the warning.
Yeah, I'll just put it on the warning. Sounds good.
Thank you.
13D, discuss select board meeting 119 MLK Day.
So what it says, that's a holiday, so we were hoping you could move it to 120, which is the Tuesday.
And that's the day we have to have the warrant.
We
Yeah.
would
Posted?
finalize the
We
warning
finalize the warning that day.
that
yeah.
day.
Does that have to be posted that day?
No,
That's
it's
the
the 20,
first day you can post it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's not the last day.
It's
yeah, it's not
the last
last minute, but it's.
But
we're
it's
getting-
gotta get to the town.
The printer
That
in the town report has to go by the 24th, so.
Okay.
So if we have like a draft warning on the 5th, and then you guys can look at that, and then we can have it adopted on the 20th. That should be, give us plenty
And
of
that
time.
should give us, they have until the 14th, so that would be for appropriations to get on the warrant. So
Right,
we'll
right.
finalize
I won't,
the
I
line.
won't,
So I have to have my select board report by the 24th?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Before that.
Yeah,
Before that?
before that, yes,
Wow.
please.
Oh, you gotta give me a date.
The 5th.
10?
Yeah. There, I will send out
That's so
emails
yes.
to everybody.
It's really helpful. And I said
November.
the 15th, I think.
Yeah, I will look at the calendar, set the date, and send out to all
Send out
boards.
the warning.
Yeah. Boards and committees for letters.
I won't be here the 20th, but it's fine if you guys have it.
Well, we just need 3 of
Can
you.
be
Yeah.
Yeah.
fun
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know, I just won't be here for that date, but I'm fine if you guys at least have 3 of you.
Well, if we look at it the week before.
Yeah.
Same thing happens in February, right? President's
Yeah,
Day is the
President's Day,
16th.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna happen in February.
Alright, it's on my calendar for the,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Mon-
guess, yeah, I mean, we
Mondays are
mark
the
that,
easiest thing for me to
mark
me to
it as
maneuver
a-
around.
Do you want a motion?
Yeah, we need to have a motion
I
for
move
that.
to move our regularly scheduled select board meeting of 119 to 120 at 6 PM at the town office.
Lots of moves, sorry about that.
Second.
all those in favor? Aye. Item 14, executive session, 1 VSA 313 A1F, confidential attorney-client communications made for the purposes of providing professional legal services to the body.
I move to find that premature general public knowledge of attorney-client communications will clearly place the town, the board, or person involved at a substantial disadvantage by providing legal services to the body.
Oh, the
Second.
Executive session at 8 o'clock.
To adjourn? Is that all that was left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you all set? Alright. Came out of executive session at 8 o'clock. Next motion, please.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?